Hi Mary, come on in. Nice to meet you. My name's Vicki. I'm a youth worker here at Cortasia House. Please come on in and have a seat. So before we start, is there anything that I can get you? Would you like some water? Do you have to use the restroom at all?
I'll get some water, thanks.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. There you are.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay, Mary, so the purpose of this interview is essentially to gather as much information about you as we can for this form here, and also for us to just get to know you as a person. It's going to take about 45 minutes, and it's going to go through basic questions such as your name and your date of birth, your health and medical history, as well as other questions that will go into detail about your education, your childhood and personal history, and your criminal justice history. Okay?
Yep.
Okay, great. And second thing I'm just going to go over with you is a confidentiality. So everything that you say to me today or to any youth worker while you're in a private session with them is considered confidential. There's only a couple of reasons in which it would be considered like we would have to tell someone. So the first is that if you had said something to us that had given us a reason to believe that you were going to hurt yourself or hurt somebody else, we would have to tell someone about that. Or the second would be if you had disclosed to me that you had hurt or abused a child, then I would have to tell someone about that. Okay? So I have this form here. It essentially outlines exactly what I just told you, but if you'd just like to take a quick look at it and give me your signature at the bottom just to make sure make sure that you understand and that you've read through it.
Okay. Okay, that's good.
That's perfect. Thank you. All right. So with that being said, let's get started with some easier questions. So could you state for me your full name?
Yeah, it's Mary Anderson.
Okay. And what's your birthday, Mary?
May 17, 2000.
Okay, perfect. I'm just going to indicate that on the form here. And why don't we start off with you telling me a little bit about your childhood and your personal history. What was it like growing up with your parents, I guess is what I'm trying to get at.
Why the fuck do we have to talk about that? It's like,
Why is it that you don't want to talk about your family?
because my family's fucked up. It's like my dad's an alcoholic that abused me. He hit me all the time. I was his punching bag. And my mom, like, she was like freaking crazy. I don't know. It's like,
What do you mean when you say she's crazy?
well, she rarely came out of her room, and then when she did, she'd come out saying that she heard voices in her head telling her that, you know, the government was coming after us, we better hide, and all this shit.
I can imagine that must have been really scary and challenging for you growing up, not having either parent really present for you.
Yeah, it was hard. But I had my brother Matt, who is a bit older than me, and you know, he just took care of me. He's the one who made sure I had food or clothes, and you know, he was basically my parent.
That's awesome. It sounds like he's a pretty good positive influence in your life.
Yes.
Do you have any other siblings?
No.
No? Okay. When was the last time you saw Matthew? Do you keep in contact with him?
Well, I normally do, but I haven't seen him for 6 months since I've been sentenced. So yeah, I'd like to see him, but I haven't seen him.
Yeah, it must be tough not having anybody right now, especially in a new situation like this. I'll tell you what, I can't promise anything right now, but we do offer visits for immediate family members here. So if you'd like, we can try to set something up with Matthew so that he can come and visit you while you're here.
Well, that'd be good. I'd like that. I haven't seen him since I've been sentenced, so.
So could you tell me a little bit about your hobbies and some things that you like to do for fun?
Well, I don't do very much now. That's fun. I used to play soccer, and I like that. And my brother and I used to play board games and when we were little, and I really enjoyed that. But now I basically skip school and smoke weed.
Yeah, well, those soccer and board games are two really, really good things. I love doing those in my own life as well. And we definitely do a lot of both of those things while we're here in our downtime with the girls. So I think that's something that you're really going to enjoy. In terms of the smoking weed and skipping school, we do have a no substance policy here because we don't think it contributes to like a pro-social, positive reintegration into society. So you're gonna have to avoid that while you're here.
That much in all the other places. That is, I assume that the same thing would be here. So yeah, that's fine.
But again, I mean, soccer, board games, two really good things that we definitely do a lot of here. So hopefully you'll enjoy those while we're here. In terms of, I mean, we just talked about substances. Are you on any medication right now?
Yeah, I'm on Cipralex because one of the doctors, psychologists, diagnosed me with depression and anxiety. So I got me on.
Can you tell me a little bit more about that, about your mental health history that you kind of just described?
Yeah, well, pretty much my entire life I've always felt depressed and anxious, and I used to cut myself when I was younger, and one day that just wasn't enough. I wanted to stop the pain, so I tried to take, I overdose on some pills and stuff, and that's when the doctors diagnosed me with suicidal tendency, so that's pretty much.
And how do you feel now after that you started taking the Cipralex?
I'm still sad, but at least I don't feel like killing myself anymore.
Yeah, wow, that must have been really difficult for you to go through, especially if you felt like you had no one to talk to. I'm glad that you're feeling better now. So I've got everything. Essentially what you just told me is that you've experienced depression and anxiety for most of your life, and that you've used self-harm and cutting in order to help ease the pain a little bit because you felt a little bit alone. And that you overdosed on medication to try to commit suicide at 13, but that now that you're on medication, you're feeling somewhat better, and it's more manageable, is what you're saying. Did I miss anything there?
No, that's right.
Are there any other medications, or is there any other medical history that I'm missing?
I don't know if this qualifies, but one of the psychologists said I have anger management. It's like, and the only reason that he said that is because the last time, this offense I did, my friends and I were smoking weed, and we ran out, so we thought, oh, we'll just go to the corner store and get get some money. And when we were there, this stupid customer was like, he starts trying to call 911, and I told him to stop, but he wouldn't, so I punched him, and then he kept trying to reach for his phone, and I just kept punching, and he wouldn't stop. So that's where the anger management comes in.
Okay. What you're basically telling me here is that the doctors told you that you have some anger management issues, and you also told me a little bit about your offense in terms of the aggravated assault and the robbery of the convenience store with your friends. That gives me a good idea and a good picture of you a little bit more, so I'm glad that you were able to share that with me. I know it's not the easiest thing to share. Is there anything that I'm missing in terms of your medication or medical history at all?
No. Oh, yeah, I'm also allergic to penicillin and nuts, all kinds of nuts.
Okay, I'm going to just mark that down on the sheet here. Okay, let's move on to education and school. So, could you tell me a little bit more about when the last time you were in school was, and what your experience was like while you were in school?
I don't remember when the last time I went back to school, but I used to go to John McCrae, but I'd skip a lot of my classes. One of the classes I really enjoyed was art class.
So why was it that you wanted to skip school so much? Like, what was it about school that made you not want to go? If you enjoyed art so much.
Well, you only have art one period, and the rest of the time it's like math and reading. It's like I'm stupid. I don't think I can. I don't learn. They one of the teachers tested me, and they said I'm dyslexic. So I don't know what that means, but it must mean I'm stupid because that's how I feel.
It doesn't mean you're stupid. It means you learn a bit differently than everybody else. Your brain just processes things a little bit differently. But based on what you're telling me, like, you have a lot of strengths. You mentioned before that you really like to play soccer, and I'm sure that you did that in school as well. And you mentioned that you're really good at art. So those are two really good things that like definitely show that you have strengths. So you're not stupid. So I know this is a lot of information, but we're almost finished. This is our last set of questions here. I know you told me a little bit about your offense, but could you tell me just a little bit more generally about your criminal justice history, Mary?
Well, I mean, this is all bullshit because I didn't do very much big things. It's like I pretty much did, minor offenses. It's like, marijuana, drug possession, and crap like that. And the judge has always given me, community service or, that sort of thing. But this one, I think I went over the top because, it was robbery and aggravated assault. So.
Mm-hmm. So more generally, so you say that like possession of marijuana and other drug offenses like that is one of them. Are there any other offenses that are missing?
Well, this one, I've also stolen CDs out of cars, CD players and stuff.
Okay, so just like minor theft,
Yeah.
but nothing. So that was your first offense, or?
I don't remember, but probably, the minor stuff was back then.
Okay. And do you remember when the first time you kind of got in trouble with the law was, like how old you were?
Probably around 10, 11.
Yeah, so okay, I think that gives me a pretty accurate picture of your history over the course of your childhood. So now I think I pretty much gathered everything that I need for the form today. Do you have any questions for me? I know that was a lot, and thank you for sitting through all of that for me. Do you have any questions about some of the questions that I asked?
Nope.
No? Okay, so with that being said, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about our program and what can be expected of you here while you're staying here. So essentially, Cortasia House is an open custody facility for girls who, like you, have been in conflict with the law and are serving a sentence in custody. It's pretty structured during the day, so we have breakfast in the morning, and the girls go to school from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And then we also have an open recreation time, so it has a soccer field, volleyball net, a basketball court, and in the winter we do a skating rink too, which the girls really enjoy. So as you mentioned, you really like soccer, and that's something that we play a lot of here, so I think you'll enjoy that. In addition, we also have some mandatory programs that you're going to have to take part in, such as living skills, cognitive behavioral therapy, your anger management, self-care, things like that. Do you have any questions about any of those, what they mean? I know some of them have like kind of big word titles.
Yeah. Well, no, that's fine. I mean, I like the idea of you guys helping me because my goal was always to get my high school diploma. So.
That's awesome. That's a really good goal to set for yourself. See, you already have some strengths and some goals, and we're going to try to meet those while you're here. So before we conclude the interview here, Mary, I just want to do a quick summary of everything that we talked about today to make sure that I have a complete picture of you and that I didn't miss anything for our intake form here. Okay, so first things first, we talked about basic information about you, such as your name and date of birth. We also talked about your childhood and family history, and you indicated that it was pretty difficult for you growing up because your father was abusive and has issues with alcohol, and that your mother also has some mental health issues, but that you have a positive influence in your brother Matthew. We also talked about hobbies and things you like to do in terms of soccer and the board games. And we talked about your medical history and your mental health history, in which you expressed that you had some issues with depression and anxiety and also anger management. We also talked about your education history, in which you finished your grade 9, but that your main goal is to try to get your high school diploma. That's right, yeah. And finally, we talked about your previous offenses with the criminal justice system and your current offense right now, which is why you're here. And then after that, we talked obviously about the program here and what we can expect from you, or what you can expect from us while you're here as well. So, you think that about covers it? Did I miss anything?
No, that's good.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So with that being said, let's go give you a tour.